These are my travel picks, and they haven't gotten the TLC that my desk picks have. And we're going to Jefferson City tomorrow, so I'm gonna touch these up, and we're gonna film it. I don't know if you can see that, but when they spot weld these three layers together, they're not always perfectly straight. And they do a decent job at deburring them, but they're not getting off all the sharp edge. And so it just kind of makes it uncomfortable for extended play sessions. So I'm getting, ooh, that was a miss. So I'm basically getting them all flush, rounded a little bit, and then I'll take them over there and convolute them. You can see they're kind of all in the same plane now. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that. All right, so these are all sanded now. Let me introduce you to this guy. So what we have here is a convolute wheel. It's a non-woven material that will polish and deburr without rolling any material around. So it's really effective at polishing and getting it just to where it feels amazing in the hand. So a little bit of a delicate operation. I affectionately refer to this thing as the eraser, because if you take your knuckle and just bump it into that wheel, it'll go straight down to the bone, and you can see what color that is, what color your bones are. It's like an antique white because of the marrow. But this wheel will do that for you. But I really like these convolute wheels. We use them here for fabrication a great extent. They're excellent deburrs, and they leave a really amazing finish. And so it's really quick and dirty to get from that sanded finish that the belt sander gave me to a really polished, smooth, really satisfying to hold finish. Getting it all nice and rounded off. And so that's what it looks like afterwards, and the feel difference is quite dramatic. You don't have those bottom layers digging into your finger anymore. And then I always kind of round them up here because I like to choke up on my picks. And that's it. That's ready for prime time. Go ahead and do this back end just because it's going to have gotten some sharpness to it from the belt sander nicking it. But now I got a pick ready for prime time. I can run around with that one like tomorrow, and I won't get fatigued in the skin from that uncomfortable edge. This isn't necessary, I mean, for most people, but I tend to pick for like a really long time, and I've got calluses. I've definitely got, I think I got a, what is it, this one? I got that callus, which helps out a lot, but it doesn't completely eliminate the fatigue. Getting rid of all these little uncomfortable spots, that's what makes the difference. So, I'm going to blow through these guys real quick. If you happen to find yourself wanting one of these convolute wheels, all you need is a bench grinder, and this is like a pretty low cost Dayton. These convolute wheels, if you go looking for them from like 3M and stuff, they're kind of expensive, but Haas, the CNC manufacturer, someone we're already kind of regularly ordering stuff from, they sell them for 25 bucks. You may find you have to make an arbor, a spacer to allow it to adapt to the shaft on your bench grinder, but this is a must-have. I've got one of these in the workshop at home right off my office because I use the convolute wheel all the time, and I find a lot of people don't know about them. It's really an amazing tool. Like, you can, I don't know if the camera's focusing, I don't have the viewfinder up, but it leaves in a really amazing finish in really short order. The only byproduct of it really is heat, which is why I've got the quench bucket right there, because it does make stainless get hot in a hurry, especially this hardened 301. But it makes it to where these picks are, you know, gourmet. Got a little bit of a separation up there. That does happen. The spot welds aren't always perfect. The picks are really good. I do love Covert Instruments picks. I've had a chance to mess with a couple different sets now, and for the price, I mean, with anybody else to get 3 layered like this, spot welded together, man, you're paying like 70, 80 bucks for a set from what I've seen. And out the box, these are fine, but if you've got the eye-hand coordination and the willingness to maybe get burned a little, maybe lose a little bit of skin. Yeah, see what it did right there? You can see how it just removed that skin, left a nice little V in there. That's why I call it the eraser. If you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. You could even use this, like, if you have some of your picks that didn't get cleaned real well or deburred and they still are kind of rough, end up hanging up on geometry, you can just real lightly run it on the edge like that. Like just barely. And it will round that edge off. You probably heard it grab right there. There was some little bitty burr that I just got, but like, that'll be the smoothest, sexiest McTickler you're gonna find. I don't always do that to my picks, the top of them, just because, again, I use them so much that they lose that burr pretty quickly. But if you're using them on something super small, you may actually find that burr causes you a little bit of headache, causing it to bind, things like that. And if you use a really light touch, which I'm getting into, I'm getting better at, you really don't want any little obstructions, because it's just gonna affect your feedback. If you're wondering why I've got so many here, I actually carry a extra 4 and 3 with me in my travel kit. They're the 2 that I use the most, because I'm usually going top of keyway, and I don't want to lose one while we're out picking and not have a replacement. I don't want to be out there with the Riz pick trying to pick stuff because I don't have a 4. So I have an extra 3 and an extra 4. These are actually cleaning up pretty quick. These would be noticeably different in the hand. Noticeably. And it doesn't remove very much material. She got a bit toasty. See, that one's got a bit of the burnness on the end there. I hadn't noticed it before, but because I was handling it so intently, I did notice. So we'll clean that up. And there you go. Number 4. Now all this haziness on it, we could get rid of that. Let me remove the safety mechanisms out of the way. So the way that I'll do that is just kind of put my thumb against it and just kind of do one of these numbers. And then you can see the finish it gets off of it. Those tool marks are from earlier with the belt sander where I swung and missed. This was that one. So, 2 quick swipes makes them all nice and shiny and pretty. Not necessary, but I do like when my tools look pretty and all polished and stuff. All right, I'm gonna not run my thumb into this thing this time. And I'm not pressing very hard. That's why when I run my thumb into it, I'm not really getting any damage. All I'm doing is keeping it from bouncing off. There's fine little hairs that end up coming off this convolute wheel, and they're more than enough to put a polish on stainless. See how pretty that looks. Last one. All right, there we have it. So these are all deburred, nice and softened up. They've had their finishes restored. So I'll take these over now and I'll clean them up in the sink with a bit of the Dawn. And then they'll be in the package ready to go for tomorrow. Just like I am. And here's the finished result. Oh, man down. But yeah. If you're doing any sort of lot picking tools, if you're modifying your stuff, I really can't recommend a convolute wheel enough. 25 bucks, throw it on your bench grinder, have at her. So, all right, till tomorrow. Peace.